So that is everything that I really wanted to talk about here. So the trends that I've seen as a coach, the BLS market statistics, tariffs, DOGE, immigration, military, and how all this can really affect the 2025 job market outlook. So if I had to sum this up, it's a lot of what I said in the beginning. I do not have all of the answers. Nobody does. A lot of this job market outlook and prediction is going to come down to the way it's implemented and how much ego there is at the government to government level in those negotiations. And that is really what it's going to be. I think most of these things, not most, when we look at the government layoffs, when we look at the tariffs, and we look at, we look at those two things, I think they're likely to have a short-term negative on the overall economy and the overall job market outlook. There's going to be some pain felt by these two things. Now, the only way tariffs doesn't have a short-term negative is if the threat of the U.S. tariffs eliminate them as a whole, or they balance out at least. Hey, you have a 10%, you have a 10% on us, we're going to do a 10% on you. And we just make it a level playing field. Those are the only two ways I think that ends up not being negative. So, and there is a high chance of that. But I also think there's going to be some ego involved that's going to lead to some games of chicken that is going to lead to a demand plummet in some industries and some lines of work temporarily until the game of chicken is over. And then the government layoffs is just flat out supply and demand, economics 101. You're going to increase the workforce supply. The question is by how much. But these things can be offset in the long term. So I think 2025, here's my succinct prediction. I think 2025 Q1, so January to the end of March, is going to be much of what we've seen here in December. I think it's going to be a continuation of really strict hiring practices, very selective hiring practices, and some people still feeling like the job market isn't great. I think Q2 is where we're going to start to get some of the implementation happening on these things. And I think that, again, it's going to be a continued stagnation. I think Q3, so we're talking from July until the end of September, I think this is where we start to see either fruits of these efforts in labor or poison from these efforts in labor. And it's like I said, it's going to come down to the implementation. I think some of these things are going to take those 3 to 6 months of the initial presidency and implementation for these effects to be felt. Some of the short-term positives, I think, will be the deportation effort, will be military negotiations, and the deregulation. I think that these three things will lead to the short-term positives. The question is, since there is kind of an equal pros and cons for short-term pain versus short-term benefit, which one wins? I think that's what's unknown and will remain to be seen. So I would approach 2025 with this. I'm going to go back to how I originally started with the trends that I saw. Be prepared to seek a new job. Be prepared to change careers. Be prepared to relocate. If you are unable to do any of those three things, figure out why. Do you need coaching advice on how to get there? Do you need to update your resume? Do you need to update your LinkedIn? Do you need to network with people? Do you need to look at a different industry? Whatever's preventing you from relocating, changing careers, or learning new things, solve that problem. That is how you approach the 2025 job market. Do not expect in 2025 to get the same job you had before it. And don't expect that job is going to be the same skill set. So between now and tomorrow, start sprucing up your resume, cover letters, LinkedIn. Figure out the skill gaps that you have in this technological digital transformation age and figure out how to learn them and start learning them through Udemy, through Coursera, going back to college, getting certifications, that self-pay stuff, whatever it might be. That's how I would approach 2025 job market. I don't think anybody has the answer. So approach it with a question mark and protect yourself. Look out for you as the candidate and set yourself up to change your location, change your career, change your skill set, and start today. That is my answer to all of these questions, because I think it's going to be a mixed bag. I wouldn't be shocked if there's 100 different changes from an economic and political standpoint in 2025, and we enter 2026 feeling the same, because some of this stuff takes time to work out. I also would not be shocked if we get through 2025 and by the end of it, jobs available is decreased by 10% and unemployment has skyrocketed. I also will not be shocked if we end 2025 with the lowest unemployment rate we have ever had, along with the highest growth in GDP and skyrocketing of the U.S. economy. I think all three are truly equal outcomes. And so the best you can do is be prepared for any of those outcomes. Be prepared to relocate, be prepared for a new career, or at the very least, be prepared for a new skill set within your current career. If you look at tomorrow the same way you do today, or even worse, you look at tomorrow like you did yesterday, you will suffer in the upcoming 2025 and probably 2026 job market. Do not put yourself in a box. And that is what I have to say about the 2025 upcoming job market, the trends I've seen, how these policies can affect the pros and cons of each one. And I will be breaking this video up into multiple parts. If you watched all of this or you see this ending, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you sticking with me. If you like this video, if you want to see more of this content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. And until next time, I appreciate you. Thank you.